Ekko discovered the memory on a restless night when sleep evaded her grasp. 8 months in the city, and still childhood wounds surfaced unexpectedly in darkness. The memory arrived complete. The schoolyard, the cruel laughter, the humiliation burning her cheeks as classmates circled. At their centre stood Lily, once her closest friend, leading the mockery with practiced precision. 20 years had passed. Ekko had carried this moment like a stone in her pocket, worn smooth by constant touching but never diminishing in weight. Outside her window, rain fell in steady sheets. The canal below swelled dark and urgent, a moving mirror for the midnight sky. Ekko watched water striking water, creating momentary crowns that collapsed as quickly as they formed. "We send away what we cannot hold," she whispered to her reflection in the glass. From her desk she retrieved paper and pen. With deliberate strokes she wrote down every detail of that day. The weather, the words, the betrayal that had taught her to guard her trust. At the bottom of the page she wrote Lily's name, the first time she had formed those letters in decades. The boat took shape under her fingers, heavier than previous vessels, as if the past had physical weight. Each crease represented years of carrying this burden, each fold an acknowledgement of how it had shaped her. The downpour intensified as Ekko descended to the canal. Water hammered the pavement, plastering her nightclothes to her skin. She barely noticed. The roar of rain drowned all thought, leaving only purpose. At the water's edge, Ekko knelt. The canal churned below her, transformed from its usual contemplative flow to something wild and insistent. Rain blurred her vision, but she held the paper boat steady, sheltering it one final moment. "We send away what we cannot hold," she said, her voice rising against the storm. The boat nearly capsized when she placed it on the turbulent surface. It spun, dipped, threatened to surrender immediately to the deluge. Ekko watched, heart pounding, as it somehow righted itself and caught the current. She followed along the slippery bank, rain stinging her eyes. The boat moved with unexpected determination, carrying her past into the storm. It navigated the churning water with a resilience that seemed impossible for such a fragile vessel. Lightning split the sky without warning, illuminating the scene in stark silver white. In that frozen moment, Ekko saw her boat join countless raindrops returning to the earth, paper beginning to dissolve, ink bleeding into the water, the name Lily disappearing into the greater current. The thunder that followed shook her bones. Ekko stood drenched and trembling, watching the boat surrender completely to the elements. The paper thinned, separated, became indistinguishable from the water that claimed it. Something released in her chest, a knot untying after decades of tension. Some burdens aren't meant to be carried. Some pain serves us better when absorbed back into the universe, transformed by greater forces into something new. Ekko tilted her face to the rain, letting it wash away tears she hadn't realized she was shedding. For the first time in 20 years, Lily's name brought no pain. The memory remained, but the sting had dissolved, like paper in rain. We send away what we cannot hold, but sometimes what we release transforms us into vessels capable of holding joy again.